everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Crew Talk, brought to you by Shoot Stop Video. I hope everyone who's tuning in is having a wonderful week so far. Today, we have two special guests with us. Well, I guess three, because we have Blake here today, too. But we have Jake from Pipeline. Hi, Jake.
Hi there.
And
how's
we
it going?
have John. It's great. We have John from Surreal Media. Hi, John.
Hi. How you doing?
Okay. Good. If both of you just want to kind of take a second, Jake, you can go first. Tell us who you are, where you are, and kind of just like a brief little history of Pipeline.
Sure. So I'm Jake. I'm kind of wear a lot of hats over at Pipeline, but the biggest thing is customer success. So I help people get onboarded. I help people get to know about it, and I also test all the software. So I'm responsible for it working well, and when it doesn't work well, you can blame me as well. Pipeline is a all-in-one video project management suite of all-in-one tools. So we've really tried. There are a lot of project management tools out there. You know, you have your Mondays, Asanas, that kind of thing. We've really tried to take that and bring in your Monday-like scheduling features with your Studio Binder-like call sheet feature with your other things that aren't even served well by the market, we think, like budget. So we have a budget tool as well. We brought those all into one project management platform.
Cool. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more about that. John, hello. If you want to just give us a little brief history of who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me here. Surreal Media, what we do is we help small businesses grow their business by using social media and all the other types of way to get the name of that company out. Some of it is producing small, short videos of a restaurant or a small business, a weightlifting center to show how the people are doing in that. And so it does require sometimes that we bring in crews and such like that. So I'm looking at this product that you have here, Jake, as some way to help us get our business quoted quicker, better, leaner.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah, Jake, can you tell us when and why you created Pipeline? Sure.
So we kind of started building Pipeline. We built the precursor to Pipeline about 10 years ago. It was the founder, Max. He built it. He had a video production company of his own called Hand Crank Films, and he built it in-house because he was really tired of not finding anything that worked well, and he was tired of managing everything on spreadsheets and Google Calendar. And so he built Pipeline, or the precursor to Pipeline, I should say, and it was just this in-house workflow and app, and all it really did was hold data. Then I joined him at Hand Crank about 6 years ago. I kind of helped maintain that, manage the projects in it, get everybody trained in it so that we were all using the same thing. And then about two and a half years ago, we said, you know, this is pretty cool, and it's not something that everybody else has. So we sold the production company, and now for the last 2 years, we've been working solely on building Pipeline and building it so that everybody can use it.
Awesome. So you've been working on it 2 years, but you were kind of working on the precursor to it before then?
Exactly. Yep. 2 dedicated years.
It sounds like Pipeline has a ton of features and really cool things. What are 2 of your favorite features?
Oh boy. Okay. So my 2 favorite.
And why?
Okay. My 2 favorite are the budget feature and the schedule feature. And I've certainly seen a lot of people agree about the budget feature. We see a lot of people come in and start using that first and then kind of use the rest later because they saw budget. But my favorite reason for budget is because I really don't think it's something that anybody else has. And it's a very quick way to go from no budget to a client-facing budget that's ready to, it exports to a PDF and it's ready to go right to that client right away. That's budget, and that's why. Oh, and it helps you figure out kind of how much you should be charging, which I think we should all be charging more money anyway. So that's budget. Schedule I love because it kind of takes what I really liked about Monday, but it's not something you as the producer has to rebuild a budget every single time. You can start with known tasks. Then you can also do custom ones as well. And it's very quick. You can go schedule a project, and then if something changes in that schedule, all you have to do is turn on dependencies and drag one of the tasks, and everything else updates.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So are you done developing Pipeline?
Not at all, not by a long stretch. We have the core set of features that we really like. We're taking a brief pause from features. We kind of just turned into a feature factory for a while. And now we're going back and looking at everyone and saying, do we like how it works? What can we do to make it better? Kind of improve the user experience a little bit, the user interface, standardize the UI a little bit. Since we've developed it over the last 2 years, we have some features that look like they were developed 2 years ago and some that look like they were developed yesterday, which they were. So we're going to go through and standardize all that, make it look the same, make it look very pretty.
I imagine that's a time-consuming process.
A little bit, it's not as fun and rewarding as the features. When we built the features, you have something new and exciting to look at. But now it's going to be pretty, but it's not going to be new. But it's going to be enjoyable all the same. Then we go back to doing new features. We're going to be working on notifications, improving the task flow a little bit. And then we always are asking for feedback from our users. And so as we get that, we will develop more features.
Awesome. John, do you have anything you want to throw in at the moment?
Yeah, thank you. My questions are about getting a budget together and getting it to a client with a good detail on it so that they understand what we're doing, why we're pricing it the way we are, and getting them a clear understanding. It's about conveying the information of what we're going to do for them in a good, quick, clear, concise manner, and not just spitballing it, not just throwing them out a round number. I want a real number written out or presented electronically as quick as we can get it to them so that they feel like we've done our due diligence, but in a very clear and concise way. That's why I'm interested in this product for what we're doing, because our clients they're all over the place. So what do you think that the best thing about the budgeting that a client of mine might look at and say, yeah, this is a company we trust to go forward? How do you think that would best be presented to a client?
To answer that is best to show it. Can I screen share and show you that?
Yes, please.
Great.
So you can go, what I love is that you can go from nothing to having a budget very quickly. And you start with, these are a few templates that come pre-built already in Pipeline, and then you can add your own as you go along. You can start from template. You can build it two different ways. You can start by going through and adding all your expenses, and then it spits out a number for you. Or you can start and say, okay, I know the client has $6,500 to spend. Then you can go in and figure out everything that you can afford with that $6,500. You can add as many details as you want, or just the very basic, what it is, the units, and your markup. And it figures out your total cost to client, that kind of thing. Once you've added those, you get a client-facing, either a PDF or an Excel sheet. The PDF gives you a few options, and you can make it as detailed as you want. You can go and give them all the line items of the budget and show them what you're marking up, and spit it out as a PDF, and boom, there you have a top sheet, and then you have all the line items, and you have markup for those line items. Or you can go in, make it have very little information, and just give them the top sheet, some clients you don't want to give your whole markup and everything you're charging, because then they start nitpicking. I don't want this. I don't want this. It's already branded with your company's information and client name, project name, all that. So that it helps you go quickly from theory, or quickly from what the client wants to having something in front of them.
Great.
Yeah, and it's
I like the white label. Obviously, we need the white label. So
yeah,
very good. Like it.
Jake. Oh, John, were you going to say something else?
No, he just really answered what I was looking for. The white label obviously was an important thing that we can put our branding on top of it. I pretty much expected that, but it's nice to see that that's there. And with these kind of tools, speed is of the essence of getting a good, honest quote out to someone. I like the top line sheet, not the line item. I like to know what the line item is, but not for my clients. If they really need to know that, then
yep.
I'd like to break that out. Thanks.
Hey, Jake, real quick, can you spit out both versions with the individual line items, and then one just, maybe we don't want to send that version to the client, but we want that for internal purposes, and we just want to send a summary to is it easy to toggle back and forth?
Absolutely, yeah. You just click a few buttons and you get a different PDF to come out of it. So, or you even have at the end of the project, so if you use it all the way and you put in your actual expenses, what you've paid out to other people, you can take that Excel spreadsheet and send that right out to your accountant as well.
That's what I really like, because for us, it's really a guesstimate of where we are for expenses. Like, we know ballpark, but like that's just, cut and dry, like really easy to know if we hit our mark or not, or if we overbid or we underbid, just to kind of keep us in check a little bit what our actual costs are.
Nice. Yeah. So we tried to make it so that you can look at it by project and see how you're doing.
Jake,
Good.
I know you said a lot of the features are still in development. You have a lot of stuff coming out down the road. So what would be a reason that I would sign up for Pipeline if not everything is there yet? Sure.
Well, you get to, I'd say that right now we have a lot of the core features. While we have some more features coming down the road, we really do have everything that we set out to have, and then some at the core. Anything else can be icing on the top. You also have a front row seat as we come out with those new features. And most importantly, you get to provide feedback as we're developing those features and really make it so that it works for you. I mean, we are an open door for feedback, and I'm talking to current users and prospective users every day, making sure that what we put out is what they want. And if it's not, we go back to the drawing board and tweak it right away.
How long does it take you? So say, oh, sorry, I was just going to say, how long does it take you if you want to make a fix? Like, is that a long process or? No?
Not really. I mean, if it's a vital fix, like we all agree that it needs to be fixed right away, it's something we can have out next week. Or if it's something that sometimes a user will say, I don't really know what it is I don't like about it, but I know that I don't like it. So that takes some going back to the drawing board and making sure that we get it right. We talk to that user a couple more times once we have it in a prototype, and then we go to the dev team and fix it. Oh, awesome. The other thing I was going to say about why you should sign up now is right now is also when we have a 14-day trial offer. So if you want to go in and try it out, commitment free, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Real quick, Blake, I think
I stepped over you.
Yeah, well, we're stepping over each other.
No worries.
Jake, I think the way I'd answer Sarah's question, and I don't know if I'm right or not, is right now for our whole team it's $39.99 or 40, I call it $40 a month. But as you start adding more features, is that price going to go up in the future? And are we going to be grandfathered into the regular pricing that we signed up for?
Yes. That's another great answer. Is right now your whole team is $39 flat. You get unlimited users for that. As we add more features, it's certainly possible. I won't say that it is going up for sure, but it's certainly possible that price will go up, and we fully intend to grandfather those that have signed up and subscribed now into that pricing that they get.
Nice.
Cool. So,
And you can
Jake,
also-
what would you say? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was also going to say you can always cancel at any time. So if you go in there right now and use it for a couple months and it's not yet everything you want, you cancel and you come back when you feel like it's ready.
What I was going to ask is, what is your end goal for your users and for you?
Oh, I like that. I'd say our end goal, I mean, we talk a lot about being an all-in-one platform and having cool features. That's really not our end goal. Our end goal is to make it so that you can take on more projects. We know that a lot of people are being asked to do more with less. And as much as we don't like that, we know that that's the fact. So having Pipeline or tools like Pipeline, our goal is to make it so that you can take on those more projects. You can go from spending all your time managing the details to spending more time shooting more projects, and Pipeline's taking care of the details for you.
Awesome. So you gave us kind of a little quick rundown of the budgeting and scheduling. Can you give us a quick rundown of all the features?
Sure. So right now, the main big features that we have are task management, schedule management, the budget builder. We also have a contract/document builder for building contracts with you and your client and with you and your crew, that kind of thing. You can use it for any kind of documents you want to build, but it's really built so that it brings in your fields, all the information you've already given us about the project. It spits that into the document for you and exports a contract for you. We also have a shoot day planner. It's like a visual board for planning out your shots and your crew and your talent on the day. And from that, it spits out a call sheet for you. So we have a built-in call sheet builder, shot list builder, talent casting management, a crew, talent, and location management, along with a repository. So we have a built-in network. You can pull crew in from that, put it into your resources, and put them onto your project. Or you can just add your own crew that you already use, put them into your resources, then put them into your project.
Cool. Do you guys have an app as well, or is it all just on the computer right now?
Right now, it's mostly desktop. We have a couple features that are on mobile ready, so mobile responsive on your phone, not a downloadable app, but just open in your browser. Those features are managing your own tasks, as well as looking at the schedule for the shoot days that you're on.
Awesome.
So it was built as something you can reference on the shoot day. You know, when you're on the go, you're looking at what do I need to do today? What do I need to shoot? What's my schedule? That kind of thing.
Do you guys have a video review tool?
Not yet. So that's something we realize at every feature that we look at and say, is someone already doing it better than we could do? And a video review tool was one of those that we said, yeah, we probably can't compete with Vimeo, Frameo, that kind of thing. We know that getting people to leave one of those platforms and come to ours would be near impossible. So when we decided when we can't build it, we're going to integrate with it. So we're looking right now at what we can do to integrate with those platforms, have all that data come back to Pipeline. So you're still looking at everything in one place, but ultimately the review part will be done with something like Frameo or Vimeo, whatever your preference is.
Blake, do you have anything you want to ask or add at the moment?
I don't know. Are you going to show us more of your screen with the other features?
Yeah, can I show you schedule for a little bit?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
absolutely.
check out the schedule. Looks.
So this is my other favorite feature. It's something I wish that I had back at HandCrank. And it's, you start out, so this is one that I've already kind of built a little bit out, but you start out with all of your tasks that you use the most here in the left, and you just drag them right in. They pop up, they schedule themselves. You can go in and assign your crew to them. Yeah, me and Billy Bob are going to go to that meeting. While you're doing this, it's going and it's sending that task to Billy Bob's dashboard so that he knows he's on it. You can also see it. He can open up this project and look at the whole schedule if he'd like. You're dragging things right in. You, of course, have the ability to enter your own custom task as well. And then once you have it built, let's say client says, well, this all looks great, but I can't commit to this project until next month. So I go up here and I turn on my dependency, and all right, we're going to push the whole project forward, pushes all those tasks respectively. Same thing, but you can do that with the deliverable itself. Deliverable is what we call anything you're delivering to the client. So this the main video is one deliverable. The teasers for those are another deliverable. Let's say the client took 4 days instead of 2 days to get back to us their notes. So I push that forward. It pushes the rest of the schedule forward. This way you can see per project what everybody's doing. You can also color those tasks separately if you want to see them in a different way. Then for every project you have, you can go into this schedule and turn on those other projects, look at those schedules at the same time, make sure you don't have any conflicts or you're not overbooked yourself for today, for example, or for someday in the future. So the goal there is we took in the quick and easy task entry of things like Monday and Asana, but it's smart enough to remember the tasks that you use the most instead of having to go in and type those tasks every single time. So that's schedule.
What else can you show us?
Yeah, I was going to say the cast, like you have a document feature, which I think is really cool that you already have some documents created, and then you have like a call sheet that you can create, which, I mean, we have a call sheet on Shoots.video, which is pretty bare minimum, and then there's Studio Binder, which is even more elaborate, and then you're kind of in the middle somewhere, which is like a nice tool for us to use.
Cool. Yeah, let me start with showing you Dayplan and Call Sheet Builder. So you come in and you have a blank slate here, and you can start bringing in what you're shooting that day. These are shots that I've added to my shot list. You can tell it what time you're shooting that. Then you can say, okay, well, I'm going to need this talent for that shot, and I'm going to need all my crew for that shot. You go in and build how you see the day happening, and you kind of start with what you're shooting and work down. Then by the end, you end up with a nice summary that you can see on the board. You can see it as if it's all scheduled and by location. And instead of going through and building and typing out a grid in the call sheet, taking the schedule itself, you end up with a call sheet that knows first what the times are, where it is, what you're shooting, who's shooting it, anything else you want to note there. It builds that schedule for you. And just like schedule, if something pushes, you can take everything, drag it forward, and boom, now you just have a brand new updated call sheet. Instead of, I used Excel for many years building call sheets, and if something pushed, or if something was going to take an hour and a half instead of an hour, I've got to go in and manually update all those. So that was our first goal in building this, was something that built itself and updated itself. And it has all the same fields that you would expect of a call sheet. It has your schedule, has your locations, call times for individual crew and talent, and their contact details, along with your logo and your project info, including your project picture. So we've seen a lot of people go from adding a project and a few details to building a call sheet in about 10 minutes. That's day plan and call sheet. It works with your shot list. It is your shot list of our crew and the talent that you've added to the project. No need to. We said you should only ever have to enter something once, and we kind of ran with that. Enter it once, use it everywhere else. That's it. Speaking of your talent, this is our casting feature. So you come in and you start telling it what roles you want. For this project, I have 3 roles, and then I can start bringing in my talent to the project. I can either bring it in, these are pulling in my resources right here. This is everybody I've added. Or I can go search the network. I can see someone I like. Oh, they look good. Oh, they look good. Take them, add them directly to my project. It doesn't let them know unless you want them to be let know. Because right now, you are, let's say I'm just considering this person. I haven't cast them yet. I'm considering for this role, so I'm going to drag them right to there. Once you cast somebody for that role, all their info is going to go to this top line here, and you can collapse that role and say somebody's cast. This also exports really nicely for client facing. So you just hit this share. You can control what the client sees, add a password or not, and the client's going to see a nice roll up of all the talent with their pictures and their notes that you've left about that talent. The client can leave some notes themselves. The client can go in and say, oh yeah, this is my guy. I'm going to select them. And it's branded for your company, has their name, has the project name, and has your roles, has the people in those roles. So that's talent and casting. Came at it with a role first, then the talent structure. And adding a role is really easy, just as is adding talent themselves. Let's see, the other one, documents. Documents we built with some document templates already built in for you. You have your statement of work that you build with the client, location release, talent release. Blake, I know you really liked this talent release that I was showing you because it had both the talent release.
Yeah, it was a mind-blowing thing for me, and it was such a simple thing. I'm like, why don't we make the talent release also their invoice? Because we would just do those as 2 separate things, and it was always a pain to get invoicing from actors. And so I'm like, hey,
there you go.
Problem solved. Easy enough.
Yeah. So a lot of these were templates that we used at hand crank, and we just imported them right in. But as you go in and build your own documents in here, all you have to do is save that as a template, and it's going to know all the text that you've put in there. It's also going to know what fields that you've dragged in. Dragging in fields is as easy as just pulling them in from the left. And once you do that, it's pulling in the data from your project. So you're not having to type that. If I want my crew list in this document, I'm just going here saying, give me my, all right, bad example, because now I can't find crew list, but it's there, I promise you. Here we go, crew detail. Drag in my crew list, and it knows all the crew's roles and their names. So that's not something you have to drag back in later or type in. This then exports to document, and you can turn it to a PDF from there. We're going to be working on, this is one of our improvements that we want to make, is having this go directly to PDF from here, or sending it to Google Docs directly, because we know a lot of people save their stuff in Google Docs. But let's say it's the statement of work that you've sent with the client. Once they've signed it, you just drag it right back here, and it's saved to your project. Both with budgets and documents, you can. Clients often love everything about something, but want to make just one or two tweaks. So instead of rebuilding that, or if you want to show them the difference between two things, you can just create a revision, and boom, it just built that same thing. You go in and add the things you want, and now you have revision 2 that you can send them and export it again with just basic summary info, or summary and all the line items and all the markups, or Excel that just gives you everything in an easy to read. Let's see, where's that? Easy to read Excel sheet that you can do your own formulas with or anything like that. So that's budget, documents, day plan, call sheets, and schedule. And I feel like I've talked way too much now.
I know
No,
I'm giving you a
never
chance.
too much. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Blake.
Oh, I was going to say we do have a question from Greg Davidson, which I believe you may have already talked to in the beginning. I don't remember what the answer was. You're basically web-based. Is it web-based only? There's not like a desktop or a desktop download version or an app or anything like that. It's strictly online.
That's correct. We're just exclusively browser-based and desktop-focused at the moment. We want to do some more feature. We want to bring some more features onto mobile responsive, but at the moment we are desktop browser only.
One of the questions that kind of popped into my mind, and if this is a silly question, I'm sorry, but when you were saying you can send things to the client, they can type notes and stuff. They don't have to have pipeline, right? So as long as like you, your crew, your group, you're paying for it, but anyone that you send it to can add notes and tell you what changes and all that stuff, right?
Exactly. So yeah, for our client-facing features, which we have in casting and in schedule at the moment, we've built it so that they don't need to be signed in. They just get a link, just like you're sending a Google Docs link. They get the link, open it right up, and throw in their notes.
Okay, that's cool. So one of the questions I have here for you is, how does vendor management work? Can we create our own personal vendor database on Pipeline?
Yes. So we have the network, and you can pull in your crew and talent that are in the network there for you, but you don't have to use them. You don't have to use that network at all if you don't want to. Everybody has their own list of people that they work with all the time. And we've heard that a lot of people are saving those records just in sheets or in their contacts. And that doesn't, if you save it in an Excel sheet, you can save all the details you want about it, but it's not the greatest thing. You can't see pictures. You can't bring in rates and stuff like that. So we built this, we call it resources, and it's built in. You enter everybody's info once. Again, enter it once and it's there forever. Let's open up a crew, for example. This is Billy Bob. He's in my, well, he's not the greatest example. This is Max. So Max is in the network, so he's added an avatar to the network. I can see his address if he's shared it. I can see his contact information. I can see what he's charging. He wants to he wants to charge for his roles and his rates. But I have my own roles that I typically hire him for, and the rates that I typically pay him that I can save in here. He can share other information with me through the network, such as what gear he has, but I can always go in and add my own details by uploading files directly to this. So we've tried to give it one centralized place to save everything about this person, and we're going to be building out more fields that you can save about everybody. Then you go into a project, and it already knows all of those things about Max. So as soon as I add them to the project, it's going to know. Let's go ahead. There he is. There are all of his details. When I go to the call sheet and I export that, it already knows his phone number and his email address from the network. Or if he's not in the network, from what I've saved about him in my own profile. So if he's not a network, all those same fields exist, and you just type them in yourself. Same with talent, same with locations. Those are the things that you can save.
Cool.
Hey, Jake.
Now, if you are... Go
sorry,
ahead, Blake.
Sarah.
You go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I was curious. Can talent and crew vendors, can they add themselves to the database, or does like another agency or production company have to initiate it to be on your database?
Oh, they can absolutely initiate it themselves. They can go and sign up for a free account of their own, and if they don't want to add projects themselves, that's fine. In the free plan, they can just add their own network profile, keep it up to date all the time. They get a login. They can keep it up to date. They can turn it on, turn it off, anything they want.
Okay, and then next follow-up question to that is, say we add a grip on there, and do they have the option to like, hey, I don't want my information shared? They could just keep it private just to our company. Like, who has control over that, where it gets shared, I guess? Is it on both sides?
As long as you don't invite them. So everything that you save about somebody, that doesn't go anywhere. If you type it in, it stays in your account. Only the people in your account can see it. If the talent or the crew types it in and they opt to share it, that's when everybody that uses them can see that data. So their data that they import is global. Your data that you import about them stays with you, and they can't even see it. So you could go in and write nasty notes about them if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's what we do all the time.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. John, do you have any questions for any follow-up questions?
I think what you've laid out here with all the pieces and your work in progress kind of is an exciting thing for someone to come on board with this to help develop this tool going forward with what you might want in it. And it seems like your company is open to doing that. One of the things that struck me is as I quote different clients, projects, I want to kind of keep a record of what I quoted them. It's all going to be sitting in here. How do I, as a customer relationship management tool, a CRM type thing where I remind people of what we've quoted them? That's one thing. As far as the crew and the cast, if you've got a project set up and it's about to start, and then you've got to bump this back by half a day or a day, letting everybody know, is there a facility in there for like a one-click notification of the top line people that we're pushing this back by so many hours or so many days or whatever it might be? Is there a texting or broadcasting of to the people that are involved in a particular project?
Absolutely. So we have we call them status notes. We have a status note feature in there that you can go in and type notes about the project. It's not quite, we really tried to not build it like Slack. It's not just a catch-all communication system. It's really for what's the latest thing about this project. I'm going to put it in there. You can make it as long as you want, but it's really for those 2-sentence updates. This pushback, call time is tomorrow, da 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 da. And once you enter that note, you can go in and select that it goes to. You can have it emailed to everybody that has their email saved in Pipeline, or you can select just the people you want it to. So you can select your executive producer and your sales rep and the director and say, it's pushing back.
Good. Good deal. Thank you.
My turn. I know you talked a little bit about this earlier, but what is the full plan for incorporating Frame.io, Whipster, Vimeo, all of those services for client review and feedback? I know you said that's something you want to do. Do you have like a timeline you can share?
Yeah, it's right now we're trying to figure out how exactly that would work. And for the most part, Frame.io is very open. They have an API for passing that kind of information back and forth. So it looks like it's a very viable thing to do. We're right now redesigning the task flow so that it can accommodate those kind of notes, so that you can leave notes about an edit right in the edit task. So that's kind of the step one. That's going to be out in the next week or two, just so that even without Frame.io, you can still leave comments and notes and files inside a particular task. Once we have that, we're going and starting to work on the integration of Frame.io. And I won't give it an exact timeline on that because I don't know it, but I'd say that's where the task flow changes are coming in the next few weeks. The integration would be in a matter of months, not weeks.
How about the integration with HubSpot? Is that something that you guys are thinking of? Yeah.
Definitely something we're talking about. We're going for the high value things first, and we really like that integration with a CRM idea, and so that because that's another thing that we realized we can't really beat. We can't beat the CRMs like HubSpot. So when you can't beat them, integrate them, and that's what we'll be doing. So that's the one that's probably out in a matter of months instead of weeks.
I can't tell if anyone has a question before I ask my next question. I was going to ask what your thoughts are on the future landscape of your industry.
Oh boy. I certainly see, and I don't think I need to tell anybody this, that video teams and video producers in particular are being asked to do more with less, and whether that's shooting with a smaller crew or producing with less time, lower budgets. That's something we've already seen, and I imagine will only continue. And we don't like that, but we're trying to help those who are being forced to do more with less. In fact, do more with less, and with less specific, with how do I phrase this? With less effort. So making that easier, making it so that even though they're being asked to do more, they can still take on more projects, that they're not being limited in the number of projects that they can take. That's kind of one trend we're seeing. I hope, and I've certainly seen from some people, that as COVID restrictions lift up, people are being called for work a lot more. I've heard from people that they're getting more projects to bid on, that things are just as busy, if not busier, than they were before March of last year. So that's a trend I really like to hear, because for a while we tried to go live with our software at the end of 2020, and everybody was like, yeah, this looks great, but I have no shoots, I have no projects, I can't try it out. So that was during our beta phase, and it was really hard getting feedback from people when they had no projects to use it on. So having the work start back up again, that's a trend that I'm seeing and I really like.
How did COVID affect you guys? Because you said it was right when you were about to launch. So did you have to kind of, when things started picking back up, do like a relaunch, or how did that affect you guys?
There was, it really affected us at first because we had we were betaing the software and we were sending it out to people free of charge just to call, just to use it and get feedback. And like I said, it was hard for us to get feedback when they themselves couldn't use it. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and without as much feedback as we wanted. That was the bad news. The silver lining to that was it gave us about 5 more months of development time that we didn't feel like we had a gun to our head to develop. We felt like we could take our time, do it right. We came out with a lot more features than we thought we ever would. So that if you looked at our software back in October, it was nowhere near what it is today.
So it gave you a little more time, I guess, to kind of improve upon things and really dig deep and look at it.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. Blake, were you about to say something?
Oh, well, there's another question from Greg, and it was about if there's any kind of confirmation for messages or notifications that are being sent out. And to me, it's typically for like the call sheets to make sure the crew received it.
Not at the moment, other than they can go in and add a comment of their own that says, message received, looks good, that kind of thing.
And then I'm going to follow up on the question from Greg with, and specifically for call sheets, because it's always interesting to figure out what you can do now and then what's planned for the future. And like, to me, it seems like right now we're just kind of emailing a PDF. Is there any other ways to send now? Like, can we send a text message with a link? Or is that planned for the future? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Totally. So right now, the 2 ways to send a call sheet are with the PDF, or those people that you've invited into the project can go in and open up a mobile-ready version of that call sheet. It's not a PDF. It's just the schedule itself with who's shooting what when. Those are the 2 ways right now. But actually, Blake, it was from a call that you hosted. I think it was on Clubhouse last week or the week before. And somebody asked that same question. And so we went back to the drawing board and we talked exactly about that idea of just texting a link of the call sheet to everybody that everybody could open without being logged in. Just the same way that we're doing it with schedule, where your client can go in and look at the schedule without being logged in. We're going to come out with something similar for the call sheet that A, is openable by a link without being logged in, and B, looks good on both desktop and mobile. Because you mentioned yourself that a lot of your crew is looking at that call sheet the day of while they're driving to the shoot, and all they really want to know right then is what's the address that I'm driving to. So a PDF isn't so good at that.
Yep, you nailed the head on that one. The other thing too is being able to click on their phone numbers. A lot of times they're driving and they don't, they're looking at that, like, okay, the number is blah blah blah, and so if they can click on it, but if it's a link that you're texting, then they can, just because it's a website.
Totally, right? You're right. Right. Actually, let me write that down. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Good job, Blake. John, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I think we've covered a lot. It's, and I think you found the silver lining in the pandemic is that it gave you more time to develop some of the things that you dreamed of having in there, or didn't even maybe know you wanted in there, and you built a good software platform. As a software developer from years past, sometimes deadlines are good. Sometimes having freedom to take more time is good. I think you use the time wisely. The product looks pretty robust, and in the way that you're answering Blake's questions and the other questions, it seems like you're also open to finding avenues of getting the information out the way the crew actually needs it, the people actually need it. I don't really have any follow-up questions to it. I think you've got a good product there, and I'm kind of excited about having it around and using it.
Awesome. I really appreciate hearing that. That's very cool.
And it's really cool to see that software developers are developing stuff like, for our industry is really cool, but also that we're talking to you and you're like, you're making notes and you're like, because before that just didn't exist. Like we would never be able to talk to a software developer that's even making things for, something for our industry, and that they're going to actually listen to us and try to make what we want. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Yes, you have a lot to be proud of. So congratulations on everything. Before we kind of wrap up, is there anything that you want all of our viewers to know? Any exciting thing that you might have coming out in the future, like soon, that you're allowed to talk about?
Sure. So I would end on a note. Well, okay. Feature coming out. The next thing that we are excited about is that revised task flow and the ability to add comments directly to tasks and add attachments directly to tasks. I'm excited about that. Looking a little bit further ahead, we're really building out our notifications and making it so that Pipeline's going to remind you by email when you have tasks due, when a project shoot is coming up, that kind of thing. I would end on a note of, if you're right now using 3 to 4 different apps to manage your projects and you feel like you're entering the same data multiple places and spending more time than needed managing all those apps, then I hope you give Pipeline a try and use it as an all-in-one platform that it's designed to be.
Awesome. Blake, did you have any final questions or things you wanted to add today?
I don't think I really have anything. I mean, I did a demo with Jake, I think last week, and it was pretty cool. I liked it, and we're gonna subscribe to their services here at some point. We were just trying to get our staff in place before we do. But yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's really cool to see that there's, that's not done. Like there's always, it's getting better, and so yeah, nice stuff.
Awesome.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jake and John. We appreciate having you here and all of the questions that were asked and the information that was given. The last thing we do before we end every webcast is we go around and everyone says their name again and where people can find you, whether it's your website or anywhere on social media, and then just any parting words you have. So Jake, we will start with you.
Okay, well, I first of all want to say just thank you so much to Blake and Shoots.video for hosting this. I know that this is really cool that you spend time and spend money putting these together and highlighting what people are doing in the industry. So thank you, and thank you, Sarah, for hosting. And my name is Jake, and I work for Videopipeline. You can find us at videopipeline.io or on Instagram at pipeline_io. And yeah. That's me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here again. John, moving on to you.
Well, that would be great. Thank you, Sarah. And I do appreciate you having me on. It's been fun and informative. And I did like what I saw here. It was really great, Jake. You can reach me at jandrewyoung@gmail.com is probably the best way to reach me on every device. Oh, that's good.
Great. Well, thank you again for being here. And Blake.
Yeah, hi. You could reach me on our website, blairmedia.net, or I'm also on shoots.video, which we did not put that in the lower third, but verbally, there it is. Sarah?
Awesome. Well, I'm Sarah Marintz at sarahmarintz.com and Sarah Marintz on Instagram. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Crew Talk, brought to you by Shoots.video. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
You might be looking at Shoots.video and thinking, so how does this all work? Is this about A, setting up the whole crew for me, B, just giving me options and having me handle it, or C, something in between? Well, it's D, all of the above. To put it simply, we're here to help you in any way that we can to get the crew and talent you need for your next production. We believe that every level of video production can benefit from a well-maintained list of qualified crew members for every position. This goes for pre-pro, on set, and for post. Every project is different, so if you need a producer to help manage the decision-making process, then we can totally do that. If you're already a producer and want to build your own crew from scratch, then go for it. We're here to make your next production a success. And if you are crew or talent looking for producers that want you, then you've come to the right place. Sign up now, and also leave a referral for any solid people that you know that are already on here. Thank you for considering Shoot Stop Video, and happy shooting!